Hey YouTube, this is a gun review on a Kimber Gold Match Classic in stainless. Do a quick safety check. You can see empty. I haven't seen any of these reviewed on YouTube, so I thought I'd review mine. Had it 5 years. It's Series 1. If you don't know, Series 2 came out in sometime in the year 2000. And the biggest difference being that they added a drop safety feature that works off of the grip safety. So grip safety double duties as now, like it is now. It only allows you to fire if it's depressed and pressed in, and you're able to fire now with the grip safety as well. It adds another feature that I guess they call it a drop safety, which would prevent the gun from firing in the event it was dropped on its nose. I don't know why they added that. Probably some legislative case law that came down that made them do that. In any event, I think it was a federal law, so most, if not all, the semi-autos have to have it, and most certainly in California all of them do. This one doesn't. This one's modeled after your Colt 70s series, so it's pretty much stock like the 70s series Colt. The frame and slide are steel. It's a stainless finish with a matte on the top and the bottom. The trigger is a 4.5 pound pull and skeletonized trigger. Just a hint of creep in it, but you want a little bit of creep in there because of a 4.5 pound. If you don't have any creep in there, you'll tend to bump fire it, and so you want a little bit in there, which it has, and it is adjustable. A little Allen wrench, so you can play with it a little bit. Skeletonized hammer. It's probably a typical weight for 1911. This being the Gold Match, it's the highest, the higher end Kimber, even now. But back in the 99, I think, when this was built, or early 2000s, was one of the last Series 1s. The Gold Match was like done by their custom shop, so they match grade everything, and from what I understand from Kimber, it went through a pretty extensive run through their custom shop to get it to where they wanted it with their tolerances and everything. Just so I will say that this slide to frame is, or was, extremely tight, is still extremely tight, and I compare it to that of Les Baer. If you've ever held a Les Baer, shot a Les Baer, or have read anything on them, you know that it takes like 500 rounds to get those things even close to being broken in. Well, this one took 300 rounds, and right now it has like 2,500 rounds to it, but the first 300 rounds it broke itself in, and ever since has been perfect. Never a jam, never a misfeed, nothing. It just runs like a clock. And I keep it cleaned about every 500 rounds. I'll clean it. I'll run through and completely disassemble, not completely, but let's say 75% of it. I'll completely disassemble the slide and all the internal parts. The frame, not so much. I can pretty much get to everything that I need to lube and clean, but I'll do that every 500 rounds, and it works like a champ. Highly recommend them. The Series 2 is another story altogether, so this is strictly for the Series 1 Gold Match, and any of the Series 1s I think were comparable. I can't say that they all went through this match grade setup and through the custom shop, but from what I understand, the tolerances from the machine shop, or from the custom shop I should say, were much different than they were of the current Series 2 guns that you purchase now. So again, this is just the original Kimbers, and I would, like I said, match this up with a Wilson Combat, or a Les Baer, a Nighthawk, Ed Brown. They're, you know, their base model, they're like $2,500–2,600 guns. I don't think there's anything that they have that this doesn't. And in fact, Wilson Combat used to purchase their frames and slides from Kimber about 7 years ago, and you can call them and verify that, as I did. So it says a lot for Kimber as to the quality of what they put out, and that they can meet the tolerances set out by the specs of Wilson Combat. And of course, Wilson Combat now I think is manufacturing their own frame and slides, but you know, as early as 5 to 7 years ago, they were buying them from Kimber and putting the Wilson name on them. So the Series 2, I think they came out in 2000, so anything pre 2000 and before, anything that doesn't have the insignia 2 on it is going to be the Series 1. Series 1 is just a name that was tagged with these early Kimbers, but I think they are well worth the money. And in fact, the cost that they are fetching these days is slightly less than that of the Series 2 in the same model. In other words, this Series 1 gold match is probably selling for $1,000 to $1,200, and if you go with a Series 2, you know, relatively new with 100 or so rounds in it, they still want like $1,200 or $1,300 for them. So they're comparable in their price. So as far as the build quality, I would stick with the Series 1. I don't think you can go wrong. The finish is polished stainless steel on the sides, and then it's got the matte finish on the top and the bottom. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the checkering on the front strap here, change out the grips and get me some VZ grips. I don't particularly care for these grips. I think they're plastic. I don't believe that they're wood or walnut, as you find on some of the other ones. This is one of the flaws, I think, that when they put these out, it was just a cost saving feature, I'm sure. But anyhow, VZ grips makes a superior grip, and I think I'm going to put them on. Front checkering I'm also going to do. I use the Wilson Combat mag, so that's I've been doing. It does have an extended release for the mag that's easy to get to. It's stock. It has the ambi safety. I never used the right side, and actually I shaved it slightly to accommodate a laser grip that I have that by Crimson Trace. I've taken it off since and put this back, but it works great with the laser, and I think I'm going to pop this off anyways ultimately and just have it a single side. I don't need this side, so it really serves no purpose for me. The only other thing I'm going to do is maybe change the sighting just slightly if they make this adjustable with some sort of indicator, a line or an outline of this, or put a bead in the front, or both, one or the other, but it makes it easier to get on sight picture if you have that. I think it's an excellent pistol, and like I said, it took 300 rounds to break it in, and now it works flawless. 2,500 rounds or so in it, and never a failure. So, and it's still extremely tight. One of the things that's an interesting note is if you pick up a Series 2 of the Gold Match Series 2, and you compare it to the earlier ones, or at least this one, which I'm sure is representative of all the early ones, the tightness on this slide to frame It's extremely tight. Even now, after 2,500 rounds, I mean, it's the tolerances are just. I mean, I don't know how you can get any tighter, but it just goes to show the workmanship that went into it. What I was going to mention is that if you pick up a Series 2 brand new, and I've done this with 2 of them, and compared it, those are looser out of the box than this one is with 2,000 rounds, 2,500 rounds through it. When I first got it, it had 100 rounds through it, and it was like a less Baer. I mean, very, very difficult to rack back. I thought maybe something was wrong with it, but I was told that no, you have to work it, let it work itself in, break it in, just like anything else. So I did. 300 rounds later, I knew what they were talking about because it's worked great, no problems, and it's still, like I say, extremely tight. And I'm sure over time, maybe at the 7,000 round count, it will loosen up a little bit more, where I see these guys just rack their slides back without any problem. And I don't think this mainspring in here is, or rather the recoil spring is any stronger. In fact, I know it's not. It's a standard. So it isn't that it's giving it its resistance as much as it is the tightness of the frame to slide fitting. And I think that's very, very important for both accuracy, longevity of the pistol, and the force that the slide, as it's banging back, is able to get back into battery. Makes it all easier when you have a tighter tolerances. That's why I think the Ed Browns, the Wilson Combats, the Nighthawks, the Les Baers are so sought after, because they have that custom fitting in them, and you just don't get that from production guns. Like I said, these, at least the Gold Match, I think they have it. I was very impressed and have been very impressed ever since it's broken itself in, and I look forward to shooting many, many rounds through this. I don't think I'm going to get rid of it. I know I'm not. The only thing that I've heard that a lot of people do, and I might do that as well, I understand this is not a steel piece, but rather a nylon or some other piece, that some people go to a steel piece here for, I don't know what this is called, the mainspring housing or something like that. But if I do that, I'm going to get the extended mag well. This has a slight bevel, and it makes it relatively easy to feed, but not as easy if it had the extended mag well. I have that on another pistol, and it's very easy to feed. It just finds its way in there and makes it a lot easier when you're changing clips quickly. So that's one thing that I definitely am going to think about there. But there's a lot of options you can do to your 1911s. That's just a few of them that I want to do. Other than that, there's no reason to do anything else. I think it's perfect. I expect to have many, many thousands of rounds go through this without any problems, except for basic maintenance, which I do about every 500 rounds. Go through a nice thorough cleaning, and like I said, it's done a great job. Highly recommend them if you're looking for one. You can probably pick these up for $1,000 or less. I don't know where you live. I'm in California, so they go for a little bit more out here, maybe $1,200. But I see them a lot on Gunbroker. Fortunately, we can't get them here in California outside of the state because they're not on the DOJ list. But you certainly can if they're available to you. I'd seriously consider picking them up before going to something like the Les Baer or the Ed Browns. I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of those. I love those pistols. I just can't justify the cost in the price difference of, let's say you can pick one of these up for $1,200. You couldn't buy a Les Baer for, unless you go with a Premier or something like that. I'm talking about the older Les Baers, the original ones that came out. The Thunder Ranch is a newer one, but something like that. That's kind of a base model now, and those are like $2,600. Ed Brown is about the same. Wilson Combat, they're all about the same. About $2,600 will get you one. And I just can't see the difference of spending double the amount when you can buy something like this and get just the same amount of fun, same accuracy, same build quality, and at half the price. So if you want to think about one, I'd seriously consider you giving Kimber a try, at least a series 1. I think you'll be very happy. And with the extra money you have, pick up a loader and all your equipment, start loading your own. Yeah, that's what I do now, and it feeds and fires everything. I mean, it feeds and fires everything out of the box if I buy it, but I don't buy anymore because I like to shoot and save some money. So good luck to your purchase if you're looking for one, and hope you enjoyed the review.